They called me a myth, a ghost in armor, a whisper lost in the scrolls. I came from a land they couldn't pronounce, my skin, foreign, my presence, a contradiction. But I saw them, before they ever saw me. I bled, I endured, and I stood where no man like me was meant to stand. They stared when I entered his court, not just at my skin, but at my silence. I didn't speak their tongue, but I understood the weight of eyes. And Nobunaga, he didn't flinch. He stood, walked toward me, and asked if I was real. I bowed, he smiled, and told them to give me armor. They didn't speak much in those days, but silence in war doesn't mean peace. Yasuke had risen, not just as a warrior, but a symbol, a man reborn, in a land that once met him with awe and suspicion. Now, his presence carried weight. The world around him shifted. Old alliances, shadows, and at the heart of it all, Nobunaga, still standing, and Yasuke was at his side. What came next would not be forgotten. They called it peace, but it was only a breath before the next battle. The lords murmured behind closed doors, old grudges, old fears. Yasuke could feel it, in the way eyes lingered too long, in the silence before the meetings began. Nobunaga moved with certainty, but even certainty can't stop a blade in the dark. And Yasuke, for all his strength, knew this path would test more than skill. It would test loyalty, resolve, and how far a man will go to protect the one who gave him purpose. The blade is sharp, but it cannot cut fear. Yasuke had stood against armies, survived storms, but tonight he faced silence, not the silence of peace, but the kind that hums with questions. Was he a warrior, or a symbol, a sword, or a man? The candle flickered. The steel sang. He remembered Nobunaga's eyes, certain, unyielding, but even certainty could burn, and Yasuke knew what comes next will demand everything. He could hear it now, not voices, not orders, but something deeper. The air had changed, still, but charged. Every warrior knows the feeling, when the wind stops, when the world holds its breath. Yasuke rose, not because the doubt was gone, but because he was ready to carry it. Steel in his hands, fire in his chest, and behind his eyes, resolve. The storm hadn't come yet, but it would. And when it did, he would not flinch. No war cry, no drums, only footsteps. The march had begun. But the world refused to speak. Steel whispered at his side. The earth pressed back with every step, and the wind watched in stillness. Yasuke didn't need noise. His presence said enough. Each step, a vow. Each breath, a promise. He wasn't marching into battle. He was becoming it. Time did not move. It held its breath, like the warriors did. Across the field, eyes locked, hands hovered over steel. No one spoke, not even the wind. In that silence, you could feel it, the story changing, the world tilting, and in the center, Yasuke stood, still as stone, sharp as truth. The line had been drawn. The next breath would be war. The field was quiet now, not with peace, but with absence. No clash of steel, no cries of war, only the wind and the weight. Bodies, banners, blood in the earth. But Yasuke still stood, not untouched, but unbroken. He did not look away. He could not, because to turn from it was to forget them. And in the silence, he bowed, not for victory, but for the fallen. The battle faded, but its echoes lingered, in ash, in blood, in the silence left behind. History doesn't speak in full voices, only fragments, only questions. But if you listen closely, you'll hear him. Not in books, not in statues, but in the space between sword and soul, where purpose is forged and memory never dies. He was more than a warrior, more than a myth. He was Yasuke, and he stood